Hi everyone, I'm Abigail. This is Josh, and welcome to another Two Kids interview. Today, we are joined by New York Times bestselling author Ingrid Law. Ms. Law wrote the Newbery Honor winning book, Savvy, and its two sequels, Stumble and Switch. Thank you so much for being with us today.
I'm very happy to be here. Thank you for having me.
I collect baseball cards. Josh collects Pokemon cards. You collect words. Where can you tell us about that? And where is your favorite place to find them?
Sure. I am happy to talk to you about my word collection. I have been collecting words pretty much, as long as I can remember. So when I was a kid, I loved vocabulary lessons in school and I loved vocabulary quizzes. And nowadays, I find my interesting words when I read other books, and I find interesting words in poetry because I like poetry, and I find interesting words on word of the day websites, and sometimes even people buy me calendars that you tear off the page and it gives you a new word every day. My favorite word is sardoodledum.
What's that?
It means to be really dramatic, like you're on a soap opera, or, oh, everything is drama all the time.
That's my sister. I was gonna say, sounds like your sister's.
That's a lot of sardoodledum then.
Editing is a big part of the writing process. Can you tell us the biggest change that happened in one of your books after you turned in your manuscript?
Sure. Well, when I was first writing Savvy, when I got a publisher, they loved the story so much, but the first thing they wanted was for me to cut two characters. And somebody suggested that I cut Fish and Gypsy. And Fish is one of the very main characters in the whole story. So that is one time I stood my ground and I said, no, I want to keep these characters in. So I found two other characters to cut. But then also the book got longer. So the first time I finished it, it was about 35,000 words. And now it's 57,000 words. So it just grew and grew and grew. And that was an exciting way to edit because I just got to write more. Taking stuff out is harder.
How do you get to know your characters?
Good question. I love writing characters. I consider myself a character-driven writer. So I like to know my characters by giving them time to tell me who they are. Like when you meet a new friend or a new person at school, sometimes you're not sure about who they are at first and you got to get to know them a little bit. That might sound strange because my characters are made up. So but they become very real to me. And one way I do that is to imagine what they're thinking and feeling when I write them, and maybe even what their facial expressions might be, or their hand gestures. And sometimes when I'm writing, if somebody walks in, they laugh at me because I'm making the same faces as my characters when I'm writing, and I don't know I'm doing it. So it's like I sort of become them when I'm writing them.
What savvy did you really want to have for a character, but never happened?
Oh, that's a really good question. Nobody's ever asked me that. Hmm. I think the ability to teleport, because I would like to be able to teleport so that, if I wanted to go anywhere in the world, all I'd have to do is maybe think about that place, blink my eyes, and I'd be there. So I wouldn't have to go on an airplane or to airports, and maybe I could even sneak into places like museums or zoos after they've closed, which I would love to do.
I think Savvy would be an awesome graphic novel. And we know you like graphic novels. And we also know you've been taking cartooning and illustration classes. Well,
Well, well, I don't know if I'll ever do a graphic novel, But sometimes I do play around with illustrations that might be fun for the story. So I have a handful of drawings I've done, so never say never.
You have a picture book at You Are Not Alone coming out next year. Can you tell us about that?
Sure. So You Are Not Alone is going to be my very first picture book. So I didn't do the illustrations. A wonderful illustrator is doing those, and she's almost done with them now. And I wanted to write a story that would reassure younger kids that when they're going to bed, if they feel really alone after mom and dad have said goodnight, they're actually not alone because they're in a whole town or a place that's surrounded by people and trees and cats and people out walking their dogs. So I just wanted to write a really reassuring story for my very first picture book.
Savvy started with you writing the craziest sentence that popped into your head. And it's the first sentence in the book. Can you say a crazy sentence for us right now?
Right now, the girl walked through the library, and as she did, monkeys descended from the shelves, coming out of the books, grabbing her and pulling her into a story about a jungle. We don't know what happens next.
That's awesome.
Thank you. I love doing that.
Does any of your writing start with you asking yourself, what if?
Oh, you know what? So much of writing is a good sitting down and saying, what if? So even though I started Savvy with that one crazy sentence, I had to figure out what came next. And the best question for anybody using their imagination is, what if? So, what if a girl's walking through a library and a monkey comes down from the shelves and grabs her and pulls her into the jungle? What happens next? And so that's a fantastic question and always a good place to start.
We are already pretty sure that you are against book bans. Can you tell us why?
Well, I believe that it is up to individual readers and families to decide what people get to read. And I don't think it should be up to a different group or one group of people, or if somebody doesn't like a book, that's fine. They don't need to read that book. But I don't think that if one person doesn't like a book, they should say nobody should ever read this book. I just think that's not fair.
Do you have any concerns about artificial intelligence and its possible impact on the future publishing?
That is such a good question. Yes, I do, because my books have already been used to train AI. So there's something like 180,000 books that were used to help train AI how to write books itself. And when I was growing up, I saw all sorts of movies and TV shows and read all sorts of books about the future of AI and what it would do. And now AI's here, so it's very strange to live in a world that was once only in somebody's imagination. But yes, I think it's really important that artists and writers still have the opportunity to be active in their craft and not just turn it over to artificial intelligence. We'll lose a
I
lot.
agree. I
Thank you.
agree.
Yeah.
Corrections are okay, but them making stories, no. That's
Yeah,
just no.
we gotta keep that to us human beings. We are storytelling animals, we people, and we got to keep telling our stories.
Can you tell us exactly where you were and your reaction when you found out you won the Newbery Honor?
Yes. So I was actually still in bed because what they do is they call you. And I was sitting up in bed because I knew it was the day that they were going to announce who won. And it was about 7 o'clock in the morning, and I was playing a game on my phone. I was playing Bejeweled because I was anxious and nervous because some people had said maybe Savvy would get a Newbery Honor. or be, awarded somehow. But I was so nervous. And so the phone rang, and I thought, oh no, what if that's my mom? Because my mom knew that I was waiting anxiously too. And I said, please, please, please don't be my mom. Please be the Newbery committee. And it was. So it was really a very exciting time. And it was a blizzard outside and it was about 11 degrees. But I was so nervous. And it was very cold. And the phone rang. Exciting day. And I thought, oh no,
What
if that's my
writer has
mom?
had the
Because my
most
mom knew that
influence
I
on
was
you?
waiting anxiously too. And I said, please, please,
Question.
please don't be my mom.
loved
Please
an
be the
author,
Newbery
still
committee.
An author named
And it
Diana
was.
Wynne Jones.
So it
She
was
a
really
British
a
author.
very
She's
exciting
passed
time.
away
It was
now.
a blizzard
But
outside
she wrote
and it was
books
about
about
11
magical
degrees
kids
that I
and
read
so
growing
it
up.
was a very cold
And sometimes the main characters
exciting
didn't stay
day.
the main character for each book. But one of my favorites was called Charmed Life. And it's about a boy who's got 9 lives, but they're all kept in a matchbook. So if he dies, one of the matches in the matchbook burns up. And his sister is a witch, and she's trying to steal his lives to get her own magic and make it stronger. So she's a very good author, Diana Wynne Jones.
What are you writing right now?
What am I writing right now? Well, I am waiting to hear right now from my editor. I sent in a new book to my editor a couple months ago, and I'm waiting to see if she likes it. So I can't say much about it yet because it's still very, very new. It's again a book that is set in our real world and has magical elements to it, but explores, what it's like to experience something normal and human, but using magic to kind of help process that feeling of a normal everyday feeling that's hard. I like to do that. I like using magic to kind of like exaggerate regular feelings. And so fingers crossed. Please, editor, please like my book. Hopefully I'll hear soon.
What is the most fun word in it?
Oh, in the new one? I didn't use as many interesting vocabulary words in this book yet. I mostly focused on having a beginning and a middle and an end. And since my savvy books have so many unusual and fun words, and this is not going to be a savvy book, I didn't emphasize the fun words as much yet. So I'm trying to think if there's a good word that pops to mind, but nothing's coming to me. I'm sorry.
It's fine. Finally, it's time for Turbo 10. 10 rapid fire questions.
Woo! Rapid fire. Okay, I can do this.
Are you ready?
I think so.
Number 1. What is your favorite phrase to use?
My favorite phrase is A-okay. Thumbs up.
Number 2. What is one subject you'd love to learn more about?
Oh, I would love to learn more about other languages.
Number 3. What is your go-to snack food?
Peanut M&Ms.
Number 4. What was your favorite book growing up?
My favorite book growing up was, it was probably the whole Lord of the Rings series.
Number 5. If you could teleport somewhere right now, where would you go?
I would go to Italy. That's where my sister lives, and I would go visit her.
Number 6. If you could have one superpower, what would it be?
To turn... Oh, two. Can I have two? Okay, I want to
You could have one mixed together with another one.
Okay, I want to be able to turn invisible, and as soon as I turn invisible, I teleport so that I can be places in secret.
Number 7. What was your favorite cartoon as a kid?
Oh, what was it called? It was called Black Star. It's about an
Number
astronaut who
8.
goes to another planet. Oh, sorry. Rapid fire. Rapid fire. 8.
What is your favorite rainy day activity?
Reading with my dog.
Number 9. If you could have any 3 dinner guests, who would they be?
3 dinner guests. William Shakespeare, Annie Oakley, and Jack Black.
Nice. Number 10. What is the best piece of advice you were given? Ever.
Ever.
Ever. Okay?
Ever.
Ever.
Don't be a perfectionist. Don't try to make everything perfect. It makes you crazy.
You were awesome. Thank you so much for doing that. And
Thank you.
thank you so much for spending time. We can't wait to read your future books.
Thank you so much. You guys are great, and you're better than A-OK. The girl walked through the library, and as she did, monkeys descended from the shelves, coming out of the books, grabbing her and pulling her into a story about a jungle. We don't know what happens next.
That's awesome.
Thank you. I love doing that.